Hey everybody. All right, good morning. I am Meg, this is the Loven Stamps channel, and I am excited to share projects with you today. No surprise if you've been watching for a while, right? So today's projects are going to focus on our January project set or supply set featuring the Country Bouquet stamp set. And this one is a terrific one, not just for Valentine's. Of course, it has Valentine messages in it, but good for thinking of you, love you, all kinds of great possibilities, friendship cards. There is a coordinating punch that matches with it, which gives you lots of quick stamping options. And speaking of quick stamping, we are going to do another sketch today. So basically, this is a card layout that I've kind of put together and said, hey, this is a great starting point layout. And then you can go ahead and take that layout and use it for whatever stamps you have in hand. So it is kind of a magic thing to be able to just take an idea and switch it out for whatever stamps and colors you have on hand. So let's see, I'm just checking in to see if you are watching this morning. Make sure you say hello so I know you're there. And I'm going to flip over for a second. Let me know where you're watching from. It's always good to see everybody. All right, there we go. All right, so with that, I am going to actually show you not only Country Bouquet today, I'm going to show you in the country, I guess it's like a country theme, with this beautiful sketch art. And this is a celebration stamp set. Sometimes people look at sets like this and they think, oh, that's gonna be really a pain because I'm gonna have to color that and I don't like coloring or I don't feel confident about coloring. Hey, Margie. So I'm gonna give you a trick that requires no coloring at all. So that will be great. It's gonna use the same sketch. And as I was getting started this morning, I was thinking, oh, I could show this other sample too. And then I was flipping through the catalog and something caught my eye. So I'm also going to bring in the, we're gonna have the delicate, what is this? What is this series? Delicate Desert. Yeah, the Delicate Desert is gonna make a sneak appearance here towards the end of our episode too, along with this really pretty sparkly paper. So lots of things to share with you guys this morning, which means we better get started. So let's go ahead and flip ourselves down here. Now, as you know, when you place an order in my online store during the month, you get the PDF tutorials if you place any size order, and if your order is at least $50, then you get 2 card kits to go. So one of them will be making this very fun card from the featured tutorials this month, and the other one will be making the card that we are going to do today. So this is the card packet that you get. You might get a little bit different designer series paper, but you'll have the pieces pre-cut, so it will really help you remember how to make this triple panel fold card, okay? All right. When we are working on this card, we are going to start off by scoring our cardstock. So this one is scored for you if you're getting the kit, but if you're scoring on your own, you're gonna wanna know that this is just a 5.5 by 5.5 by 8.5 piece of cardstock. You're going to measure over and make the first score at 3¼ inches. And then this last score is gonna be 1¼ inches from this end. And here's the easy way to remember that, okay? So I love the idea of cutting my designer series paper here to a 4-inch wide strip and then working with it because it's such an efficient cutting way. So I'm going to show you this one and then we'll put it away and I'll show you sort of the quick version of it at the end. I'm going to cut this paper here to 4 inches. Okay, I don't often cut when we're together. I usually have everything pre-cut, but this one just is so much easier to see. And then I'm going to cut it to 5¼ inches because that is going to be the height of our card. Okay, you can see it's going to fit, obviously not on this paper, which doesn't match, but it's going to fit here. And so, then when I split this, I'm going to split it to 3 inches and 1 inch. Okay, and this is the basis for our card here. So when you're doing your scoring, remember you want your front panel here to be that 3-inch wide piece, and you want your back panel here to fit that 1-inch wide piece. okay? Just like that. Here's the purple version of this paper. This is the Fancy Flora, Favored Flowers paper. Goodness gracious, so many fun names. And here is a version of that, which is mounted into a card already. This is the coral version that's included in that paper, okay? So lots of possibilities for that, and you've already seen a couple of them. So let's go ahead and put our paper down here. Let's see. I'm going to, now if the paper has a specific direction to it, you can match it. So you can see that this paper was cut like this. And I'm just gonna go ahead and keep that same orientation so that when it goes on our card, it just continues the design. Some paper really, this one really doesn't matter so much because it's such a busy design that their eye doesn't really try to line it up very much. But there is the lined up version in case, in case your paper matters. So. All right, let's see. Then we're gonna switch over and let's see. This is so weird this morning. Okay, we're gonna switch over and we are going to do the decorating on the front of this card. So here I have some pieces of basic white cardstock and we're gonna go ahead. I wanna use our stamps for our heart and our stamp for our leaves. So we're gonna go ahead and ink this one up in, there we go, in our, what color is this? Mint macaron. And then we're gonna go ahead and ink the other one here, our sweet sorbet ink for our hearts. And let's see, there we go. And then we're gonna go ahead and use our heart punch to punch these out. So here is our heart. And I'm gonna pop this down in here. Now, I have it a little too long at the bottom. You might need to go ahead and skim off some bottom of that. And then if you're inside here and you have a really hard time reaching, I'm gonna show you a quick trick. If you have a Post-it handy, that's fine. But if you don't have a Post-it, you can kind of make your own. So I'm just gonna take this little scrap of extra cardstock here that I just took away. And I'm going to put it here on the side of my panel to make myself a little handle, okay? And then with that handle, I can slide this in here and control exactly where that's going without trying to poke around in there and so forth. So there are our hearts, okay? And then I'm going to jump in here and let's see which way does it go, that way. Line up my punch here and go ahead and punch these, so. All right, Facebook is being a pill this morning. I do not know, let's see, people are having trouble finding us this morning. I'm not quite exactly sure why that is, but well, we'll see. Okay, so I'm glad that you guys who could find us are here, and I apologize to people who have to watch later because we're like semi-invisible this morning. All right, so we have our hearts there, and we're gonna go ahead and add our leaves to them. I think this is such a fun element. Easy to add to lots of different cards. And then we're gonna use a greeting strip here, and I am gonna use Valentine's Day for this one. I didn't use Valentine's Day greetings for all the other ones on this month's. Oh, I got a little blurb there. So let's flip that over and try again. A great thing about Stampin' Up! Cardstock. Oh, I see why. Because I didn't, my block isn't quite long enough to cover the whole thing. So keep an eye on that. Let's see, there we go. And then I'm gonna trim these ends. We'll leave that one a little longer. And then, hey Barb, this is going to fit here on our card. And we're going to add our hearts. So, all right, now when I assemble these, you guys know that I don't love to be like fussy about all the things. So I am going to, about all the adhering. So I'm gonna go ahead and kind of layer these and then put some dimensionals across to just hold things so that I don't have to like try and put dimensionals down on the paper and then have them not be in the right place. So I just, from the front side, pinch those where I want them and then flip over to the back side and just run a strip of dimensional across there so that it holds those pieces just where I want them, okay? And then I can use that same strip. Now I'm gonna overlap the fold here, so I need to make sure that that little bit of dimensional there is covered up. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a leaf part down here. So that is covered now. And then I'm gonna put our other leaf. I think I'm gonna wait and tuck that on later. So let's go ahead, oops. We need enough dimensional here to hold our project down. On Friday evening, we had a demonstrator gathering, and it was so much fun. It was a Zoom event, and somebody was demonstrating, I think it was my friend Laura Burkett, and she used like 16 dimensionals on the back. Okay, she not 16, but she did use 6 on the back of something. So in honor of Laura, I'm gonna put one more on there because apparently I don't use enough dimensionals. So anyway, okay, that's the back side of our greeting. So we're gonna go ahead and place this here, and we're gonna double check. Oh no, I did not succeed. So I'm going to get rid of this dimensional. The other thing you could do is you could put something on the back here, but I'm actually just gonna trim this. Now see, if I hadn't put too many dimensionals on, I would have been fine. All right, so I'm just gonna trim away that dimensional. There we go. All right, now no problem, and we have more dimensionals, which apparently is making other people happy too. So, all right, I'm gonna trim this just a teeny bit because I don't want it to line up with the edge of our card. And we are going to pop this under here like that. So I trimmed it because I didn't want it to line up here. And hey, Kathy, are you guys, you upper Midwest folks in Michigan and Wisconsin, are you kind of gray today? Like us, we're a little bit gray here in central Illinois. So fun to have some bright colors. And then I have one leaf left over, so we're gonna pop this one leaf back in here. And for that, random little bits, I usually like to adhere with my multi-purpose liquid glue. If you can see the glue, it is enough. That was actually kind of a generous amount. And then I'm gonna just slide that under there, okay? So, we have 2 things left to finish on this card. We have the inside of our card to stamp. And so this is cut to 3 3/4 inches wide by 5 1/4. And we're gonna go ahead and use, let's see, there's so many great accessory images in this set. I love when there are lots of possibilities and different pieces that you can choose. Let's grab this open heart here, and I'm gonna snag a block. Where do you guys keep your blocks when you're not stamping? Let's see. Mine are like in a pile kind of up here that are handy to me when I'm working together for a video. But it is nice to have them just super handy. And then I think I'm gonna bring in our Petal Pink ink here because it matches the front of our card so well. And I'm just gonna put some flowers here. There we go, over the edge of our heart. And then I'm not gonna put a greeting in here because depending on who's getting this Valentine, you never know how sappy you want it to be inside. So I've got like, I don't know, for some reason I thought it was February. Like, let's not make the year go any faster. But I already sent my parents and my in-laws their Valentine's Day cards because I thought it was like gonna be late to get them by the 14th, but that was January 14th. So anyway, they'll have lots of time to appreciate those. But here, oh, we haven't embellished yet. For the curated supplies for this month, let's see. Kelly said, yeah, I don't know why either, Kelly, but I'm glad you guys are here now. So I'll have to maybe do some research about why things aren't popping up correctly for people. So, all right, so we're gonna go ahead and use some of these gorgeous sequins here. And I'm gonna use a big one kind of down here on the bottom. And then I have my sequin packet slit open on the side, which makes it very easy to drop the sequins in and out. And I have one on the front and one on the back because there are 2 different sizes on these. So I'm going to slide and stick, and my second sequin is going to go out over here. So there we have some sequins here. So remember, this is one of the card kits for orders, if your order is at least $50 in my online store during the month of whatever month this is. Apparently it's January, not February. So you have plenty of time to do Valentine's still. All right, so there is our layout. Now, are you ready to see another version of this card? I'm gonna get some inky things out of the way because I have another version that uses in the country stamp set. So this is one of the celebration ones. So when you place an order that's at least $50, not only are you getting 2 card kits in the mail from me, but you also are selecting celebration rewards. And so this is one of the sets that you can pick for free. You can browse those on the website and the link in the video description. But this stamp set is very intimidating to people. They look at this and they're like, oh, I don't want to color all that. Or what if I don't color it right? So I'm going to show you a project today that doesn't require any coloring and means that you can just really kind of enjoy the beauty of the artwork, okay? So we're gonna bring in our, I'm gonna show you here, I'm gonna use this image from it, and I've stamped it once in gray granite because the colors that I picked for this card come from the desert, delicate desert, let's see, we'll get that one kind of out of the way. From the delicate desert paper. So here are some pieces that I pre-cut. Remember the trick that I shared at the beginning. So if you haven't seen that, you want to go back. Remember the trick I shared at the beginning for remembering where to score your paper. It's super easy. And then just double check your, there you go, orientation. This design does have a continuation, so it's happier to be matched. And my 3-inch strip and my 1-inch strip are going to line up here. I'm going to do this one a little differently with our placement in the end. We have our panel that's going to go inside, and then I have our greeting to go here. Now, this is pretty on white cardstock, but I wanted to do something a little different, and I wanted to encourage you not to be afraid of stamping on your designer series paper. Oh, Kathy has her acrylic blocks in her topper storage. Yes, actually I do too. Let's see. How about if I turn this back on for a second? There, actually you can see them right there in my topper storage. There, right there in my topper storage, I have them up there too. So that's where, if I'm working and I'm not here with you guys, then that's where I put them. But okay, back to our paper. This paper is absolutely gorgeous. It is sort of these desert colors here. And then on the back side, we have more pretty Cajun craze, soft succulent kind of card colors. And so I pulled out this paper because it is really pretty to stamp on. Don't limit yourself to like only stamping on solid color cardstock. So here's our paper, and you can see that this is really going to complement this image here. Okay, we're gonna be able to see it really nicely, but I want it to be a little bit darker. Gray granite color came from this set of paper, right? Because I want to match my paper set. Stampin' Up! Artist already picked the coordinating colors, you know, so why would I rock the boat? But I do want to have a little bit more intense image. So you can see I haven't changed my background paper for a little while. So what I did was I mounted this here on my Stamparatus. If you don't have a Stamparatus, Celebration is a great time to get one because it is good for lots of little tricks, as well as the fact that it's a pricier item, so it will contribute to your Celebration free stamp set or free paper collection more quickly. All right, so we have our stamp here. I'm gonna take my pad and ink this. And I'm gonna go ahead and flip this over just one time right there so that I can get, there you go. See that stamped there on the background? I suppose I could put a clean paper. Is the back of this clean? Yeah. Here, I'll flip it to the back side. Okay, your magnets, you notice how I picked them up in two hands? If you let them get too close to each other, they will snap together really hard. So I'm always very deliberate about where I place them so that I don't get them snapping together and pinching my fingers. You can get little blisters that are tricky. The other thing is sometimes they're tricky to pick up off of the paper. I usually just slide them to the end, but you can also use a piece of washi tape to make this little flag, and then you can pick them up and set them down wherever you want because that little flag is like a little handle. So, all right, so now that we've done that little move to make our paper cleaner, let's go ahead and, there we go, stamp our green. Okay, so now we can see where it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my paper in here, and I'm going to line it up. Let's see, I want it to be about like that, I think. Let's see, am I going to go too close to the top? So you can see exactly where your stamp is going to go. So that is a big help. And then I'm going to take this magnet and hold the paper in place, but I'm not going to put it here because our stamp would interfere. So it's going to be right here so that it holds our paper so that we can stamp multiple times. And now I'm going to start inking here. Now with firm foam pads, the newest of the Stampin' Up! Pads, we've had these for a few years, you really don't want to twist. No twisty. You just want to tap on here because the firm foam pads can be damaged, okay? Now, you don't have to push too hard. See how our image is going to grow. So you're not trying to do it all in one. You really don't want to catch an edge on your stamp. It's not worth it. You're better off to just stamp it a few more times. Do you see how this is getting darker and darker as we go? Okay, 3, I think maybe one more, just because I think that this is pretty and I like the trick. There we go. So that is so much easier to see than this. Okay, see how that's darker? But we have the same color of ink. We just have it be a different shade, a darker shade, okay? So I'm gonna set that aside. Like I said, you can use your flags or you can just drag them off to the side, but there is our stamped background. And isn't that gorgeous on that delicate desert paper with the pretty colors rather than just plain? So I'm gonna go ahead and trim this down. Gosh, I'm getting my paper trimmer out for you guys a ton today. And I'm gonna make this about the same on this side as on this side, or this side as the other side. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut that there, okay? And then I'll tuck this back in the bottom of my paper pack so that I have it handy. And then I'm going to go ahead and mount this here on a piece of soft succulent so that I can have that pretty mat around it. But I'm gonna go ahead and not measure. I'm gonna show you my quick cutting mat trick. Just put that down, always smush from the back side. And then I'm going to kind of just eye this and cut along the edges here to line it up. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at the amount of the space that's going to be left in the mat after I cut, and go ahead and run that down. So there we have our perfectly matted layer here to go on our card. Now, on my Valentine card here, my Country Bouquet, I put my embellishment here, and then it opens like this. But on this one, I think, what if we switch our flaps and attach it on this side so that our element opens like this, okay? So we're gonna switch that up, and I'm gonna grab some Stampin' Dimensionals, and I'm going to put them, let's see, I'm gonna put my fingers here so I know I have to be between there, and I'm gonna pop these way out here. And I will take a page from Laura's book and use like 4 or 5. 4, I think 5 is not gonna fit on there. All right, because I want this to be really nice and strong. When you have a panel like this that people are gonna, turn and move all the time, you wanna make sure that it is not going to pop off of your card, okay? So there is our panel. Let's get rid of this for the moment. Okay, so we have our card that's gonna open like this, and now we need a greeting for this. And I really felt like between the soft colors and the pretty sort of Mediterranean Southwest door kind of thing, this could be a thinking of you card for sort of a sending support occasion, which brings to us the sending support stamp set. And this one is also a celebration stamp set, so it's one of the ones you can pick for free, and it has greetings for all kinds of, some days are harder than others, sending thoughts and prayers. Hope today is one of the easier ones. There's so many ways you might feel right now. Alone shouldn't be one of them. This is a really outstanding set. Sometimes it's really hard to find a card with a perfect greeting on it, and that's when you're happy that you're making them, because there's no way you're gonna buy the perfect greeting card for some of these sentiments. So you can make your own. All right, so I've got sending loving thoughts and prayers, which I just kind of botched here. So let's get another scrap of paper and go ahead and stamp this again. When you have a tiny, tiny, tiny stamp like this, you might find that you need to stamp it a few times. Be patient with yourself. There we go. So that you get, and here's sort of the difference between them. So that you get the image that you want. I pressed a little too hard on the top of this one, so it got that messy edge there. So this is the cleaner one. And you have tons and tons of scrap of paper around, I am certain. So I keep those handy actually in their own little like baggie because I use them so often. Oh, Kelly says she does not use nearly as many dimensionals as Laura does. Yeah, I usually don't either, but I clearly am branching out and finding it useful today. So, all right, let's go ahead and cut this pretty close. And sending loving thoughts and prayers. It's got kind of a big space on the bottom, but I kind of like that as like a design element here. So we're gonna leave that. And we're gonna go ahead and add this to our card. So I'm gonna pop all in, you know, just two dimensionals, look at me go. On the back here, I don't know, how many dimensionals do you guys use for stuff like that? So, okay, I don't really love it when my greeting is centered, so I'm going to, since I hadn't let that sit, I'm gonna go ahead and extend it over to the left there so that it's not centered on our card. So I don't like, when you center things, there's like a stop point on when your eye is traveling around the piece. And so by avoiding the midline, you have a lot more motion. You might not even notice it when you look at something, but when things are lined up in the center, then your eye stops and you take in less of what is available to you visually. So, all right, so I'm going to go ahead and, that's my total amateur art lesson for this morning. But I was thinking for the next part, I really wanted to add some embellishments to this. And so I was opening my book and I found the Delicate Desert page. And I thought, oh man, there are so many pretty elements in here. Wait a minute, what's that? That is really pretty. So those little style ikat elements, or if you're a Southwest person and there's a name for those, please let me know. But they are gorgeous. So let's go ahead and add a couple of those to our card. So I've got one cut here already, and I am going to use my baby blue, boho blue, Stampin' Cut and Emboss, mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So apparently other stamping friends have named their mini machine. So I don't know, I feel like I should come up with a name for my mini machine. So if you have any ideas, let me know. So here is this element. There are lots of great Southwest elements here in our Delicate Desert piece. I actually used this frame, this inside frame here on a total not Southwest card. Here is that frame in action. I shared this on our new catalog preview when I showed you how to use those Stampin' Blends markers there on our catalog premiere party. But the edges of this panel are cut with that edge on the Delicate Desert. So this is a really outstanding piece. You can see I'm using it for a couple things here, even though I'm not even using the rest of that suite. So, all right. And then I'm going to go ahead and pop this baby through here. There we go. Now, I was using this the other day and I was having trouble starting my plates. And I thought, okay, people tell me this all the time. Hey, Jenny, I miss you too. So people tell me that they had trouble starting their plates. And I thought, oh, this is exciting. I'm having trouble starting my plates. What's going on? So I'm going to tell you what I figured out. When I was having trouble, I would get to a certain point and my die wouldn't go through any further. It was because I hadn't cleaned out another piece of paper in here, and I had 2 layers of cardstock inside my die. So another thing to try if you're finding that you're having like a little struggle getting your plates to go through, your dies to go through, make sure you only have 1 piece in there. The mini is a delicate soul. It does not want to cut like 2 layers of cardstock at a time. It says, no thank you, small bites for me. So. All right. Hey, Sue. Yeah, sorry everybody's getting the late notes here on my video. No, not sure what that's about. Okay. Clearly something strange that Facebook has changed. All right, so there is, I think, a nice placement. So what we want to do is we want our placement of our elements to look nice now and when we open the card. Okay, see how that's going to work. And honestly, I think if I had this to do over, I might move this panel up just a tiny bit. Actually, maybe I can move these because I like these to be a little bit higher. Like that. Oh, I think that works actually, even with the card closed. I'm good with that. Okay, so let's go ahead and stick these down. I am not going to use dimensionals on them. I'm going to use my multi-purpose liquid glue so that they stay down. But this paper is absolutely beautiful. I wasn't super sure when I saw it in the catalog that I was going to love it, but it is this one, a dry brush metallic specialty paper number 4 in there, and a little goes a long way with it. It is fantastically beautiful. And it's the perfect accent for something like this card where you just want a little bit of gold and a little bit of color. And oh, I like that placement. Okay, that is going to work for us for those little elements. Okay. All right, so we've stamped on DSP. Yeah, Kathy, I'm glad you like that. We have used our card layout here. So same card layout, we just switched out the ideas, but you can kind of see how that sketch works, right? It's a triple panel card. There's a big main element kind of down here to the bottom right, and then a horizontal greeting, and then of course you're going to embellish as works best for you. Of course, we want something on the inside of this card. And there are extra accessory greetings here with sending support. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp. I'm just going to stamp "You've got this" here on the inside. And then make sure you stamp first before you adhere, because if you make a little blurb, you definitely don't want to have already glued your card together. Okay. All right. So now we have sending loving thoughts and prayers. You've got this. As our element. So those are sending support and in the country, both celebration stamp sets. And then our original card with Country Bouquet, which is in the January through April book. So, all right. Okay, guys, let's see. I think that covers us for today. I'm trying to remember if I have any reminders. I hope that your week is off to a good start already. Actually, today's kind of like Monday, isn't it? For a lot of us who had yesterday as a holiday. If you didn't, then welcome to Tuesday. And I will be back on Thursday with another card for you. I haven't decided which one I'm going to show you on Thursday, but we'll get more. And I think I'm going to try scheduling a Facebook Live event as like a preview. So maybe if you RSVP for that, then you'll get notifications when I go live. We'll see. Sorry, this was such kind of a miserable finding Meg morning. I don't know what was up with that. If you watch later on YouTube, clearly you have no problems. It's always right there where you expect. So, all right, guys, have a wonderful day. Remember this card layout the next time you go to sit down and make something a little bit fun. And I will see you on Thursday. So happy stamping, everybody.